Okay, so here we are. We are going to start talking about brain retraining. So, aside from, doing the inner work and really feeling and sitting and being unconditionally with your emotions, which is what you have to do, that's step number one. Step number two is how long are you going to stay with those emotions, right? You're going to stay with them, but you're going to change. Right? We do need to take action to change because we don't want to sit with our sadness and our illness forever. We want to make a change. And so that comes from brain retraining. So there's a lot of, I've done a lot of videos on, take steps to create your new identity and your new future. And that's a great place to start. But in regards to brain retraining specifically, along my healing journey, I've done 3 programs. One was GUPTA, one was ANS Rewire, and one was the dynamic neural brain training with Annie Hopper. So I've done 3 specific brain trainings, and then of course there's all the other work and books and Joe Dispenza and all those different The Secret, everything like that, right? The Law of Attraction, all the other work that I've done and the books that I've read on the subject. So it's often very, very easy, simple to retrain our brain, but one of the most difficult things to put into practice. So we're going to break it down and we're going to start to figure out how we can change the thoughts that we're telling ourselves. Because although we want to feel, this is where it gets confusing too, because people will say, well, didn't you say I'm supposed to feel all my emotions and I'm supposed to acknowledge everything? Yes, you are supposed to be with every emotion that you have and not expect it to change, not try to change it, not try to fight it. But your thoughts do need to be changed. Your thoughts are usually negative lies and worries and fears that you tell yourself that keep yourself stuck. So your emotions, yes, always sit with those feelings of grief and loneliness and sadness and anger and despair, right? But the thoughts we tell ourselves, like, this means because I have this, I'm never going to be better, or I'm never going to be well, or this headache is going to kill me, and I'm going to die, this is so bad, and I'll never be able to withstand this, right? So the feeling is real, the desperation, or the sadness, or the anger, or the loneliness, whatever it is, the emotion is real, and we stay with that emotion, we honor that emotion. We have to do the inner work to be with that emotion. But then our brain, our active brain, is what we don't listen to. It's like the feeling in our soul, the emotion that we need to acknowledge and we need to integrate back into our life, right? We need to be with that. So if you haven't watched my videos on the inner child work, fragmentation, those kinds of videos, go back and watch that, because it's very important as a starting place. Because this isn't about lying to yourself or tricking yourself, or like being incongruent with yourself. Like when you say, I feel so sick, I'm going to die. And then you immediately tell yourself, like, I'm the healthiest person in the world. Okay, so that's not what we're doing. We're not tricking ourselves. Brain retraining is not about, in a way, it's about tricking yourself to retrain your mind. But it's not about denying or disowning your emotions. Okay, you feel frustrated. You feel sad. You feel lonely. You feel desperation. You feel these feelings and they are real. And we're not denying those. But it's the thoughts that kick up around them that because we feel anger or because we feel loneliness, we tell ourselves that means we will never find anybody, that we'll never have love, that we'll never enjoy our life, that it's always going to be this way, that we'll never be the best parent or mother, or we'll never have friends, or whatever it is. So we tell ourselves, our brain tries to protect us with thoughts. How is that protecting you? Well, the more negative the thoughts can be, it protects you because it keeps you staying, it keeps you safe, it keeps you from getting too much hope and then being crushed, right? Your brain likes to keep you thinking of the worst case scenario so that if the worst case scenario happens, it's prepared. But those are lies, those are thoughts. So thoughts are different than emotions. So that's the starting point to brain retraining that a lot of people miss. It is so important to acknowledge your emotions and to be with them and do the inner child work. I'm not telling you not to do that. That is key. But it's all the thoughts, all those pesky little thoughts that rise up that are not true. They're not true. They are preparing you and protecting you for the worst. And they're bringing you down. They're negative and they're patterns. And they're based out of fear. And they're based out of fear. And those are the thoughts that we need to retrain. Instead of flooding ourselves with messages of fear and hopelessness, we want to flood ourselves with messages of health and hope, right? These are the messages we need to flood our body with. Because sorry, I lost my train of thought there because I thought someone was coming up behind me. But here's the key. So if you acknowledge your emotions, and if you feel your emotions, but then you can realize that all the thoughts around those emotions are BS. They're designed to get you away from your actual emotion. They're distracting you from the actual emotion that you feel. It's telling you all this stuff like, I'm gonna die. I feel so bad. I'm gonna die. My head hurts. I'm this. I'm that. I'm sick. I can't do this. So it's gonna be like this. So what's gonna be like tomorrow, right? So your thoughts are actually distracting you from the real feeling inside that you want to get to. You want to get to that emotion. And then when we do our brain retraining for our thoughts, it's not disregarding the emotions that we feel, like the anger or the sadness or the loss. It's reinforcing that. It's helping that emotion actually. So it's not anything that we're lying to ourselves about. So, if you're feeling lonely inside, like just all alone, and that's the emotion. Abandoned is your emotion. But your thoughts are saying, I'm all alone, no one's ever going to understand, no one can ever love me, I'm never going to be a good partner or a good mom. Those are thoughts and they're lies. So we retrain those thoughts with, I'm lonely so I can be with myself. I love myself. I'm here for myself. People knew me, they would love me, right? Where we're training our mind, I'm a good person. I'm worthy. I'm gonna find someone. One day this will be behind me and all the gifts that I have I'll be able to share. I will have lots of friends and lots of people. So we're not lying to ourselves. We're really using those thoughts that spin up to help us move forward instead of keep us in fear and keep us stuck. So we honor the emotion, but we change the thoughts. Okay, so it's the thoughts that we are reprogramming. Okay, so take a breath. Okay, so a lot of brain retraining starts with waking up in the morning. And this is where I find a lot of people with chronic illness, the first thing they notice when they wake up is symptoms. The first thing they think about is, it's going to be a terrible day. It's going to be a horrible day. So that, just noticing the symptoms, feeling the symptoms, and having thoughts that tell yourself that it's going to be a crap day, a terrible day, I don't know how I'm going to make it through the day, is setting yourself up. Can you just see it like from an objective point of view? And this is so automatic, and people with chronic illness do this every day. Okay, it's so automatic, and it's just setting yourself up for a bad day, a bad couple of days, a bad week, a bad month, a bad year. This is what we do. So the way we wake up is so important, okay? And the thoughts that we tell ourselves and how we rewire our brain, I truly believe starts in the morning. Okay, it's so powerful when we wake up what we tell ourselves. Because we're not even having an emotion. We might be having, we're not even emotionally charged yet. We've just opened our eyes. We've noticed a feeling, we've felt a symptom, and we've immediately gone into the negative stories and things that might not even be true. We tell ourselves all the bad things that are going to happen today. We tell ourselves what a terrible day it is immediately upon waking up. right? And that has to change. That is the number one thing that has to change. So today, we're just going to focus and we're going to keep it simple as we kick off our brain retraining. And we're going to ask ourselves the one question when we wake up, okay? And that question is, immediately, no matter what you feel when you wake up, no matter how bad you think this day is going to be, immediately when you wake up, I want you to ask yourself the question, what is possible for me today? What is possible for me today? What goodness is possible for me today? What healing is possible for me today? What health is possible for me today? And I want you to start to think, just open it up, right? Open up the question of possibility, that there's more than just what you feel right now, and we don't have to tell ourselves those old negative stories. So immediately upon waking, I want you to say to yourself, what is possible for me today? And if you notice your symptoms and your symptoms are drawing your attention, I want you to say, what is possible for these symptoms today? What is possible for them? What is possible for me? How can I turn this into a great day? What can I do to start this day off right? And it's sometimes ignoring the symptoms. It's never ignoring our emotions. But sometimes it is ignoring the negativity that wants to draw us into a pattern of, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at your physical symptom. No. You can acknowledge your emotions, but you don't want to acknowledge your symptoms. Okay, so we're just not going to address your symptoms in the morning. We're going to try to change them. So if you usually lay in bed and feel them and let them trickle all over you as you start to tell yourself all these negative things, we're going to change that. So whatever it is that you do in the morning, you're going to do the opposite. So as soon as you open up your eyes, you're going to have a sticky note with the paper that says, what is possible for me today? And then you're going to change your pattern. So a lot of brain retraining is based on changing patterns. And I truly believe it starts in the morning. So in the morning, if you're the type of person who lets it, wash over you in the morning and you lay in bed, then I want you to immediately jump out of bed and I want you to do something like get on your shoes and go for a walk straight away. Or I want you to, do the opposite of what you normally do. If you ruminate on it in the morning and lay there, I want you to get up and start to do something different, okay? It's not that we're avoiding our emotions, but we're avoiding this negative spiral and this pattern that's happened. So first of all, we want to think of the possibility of what's in store for us today. What can be great? And then we follow it up with an action of something positive. We get up and we drink a huge glass of water filled with lemon, and we maybe do an amazing yoga pose that makes us feel strong and powerful. Or we get on our shoes and we go outside and we breathe the fresh air and we do a walk and we listen to something. Instead of maybe in the morning you ruminate on your thoughts or you listen to podcasts that bring you down or are depressing, I want you to change it. Put on something completely different, a comedy, something that makes you laugh, happy dance music, whatever it is. We're going to change the pattern. We're going to start to change up our brain, because our brain has been wired to continue to wake up and say, right, every day. And this is why we continue on in this pattern, and we can't do that. We have to change it. We have to start with the morning. So my first question to you is, instead of being negative right away, open up to possibility. What is possible for me today? What is possible for me today in love, in healing, in relationships, in life? What is possible? What can I do? And then I want you to get up and do the opposite of what you normally do. Bring in life and vitality and power, and bring in something to your soul that nourishes it and makes it feel good. And start the day off that way. Every day, whether you feel like it or not. So that's all I want you to do. First step 1 of brain retraining is just start in the morning. The morning is the most powerful place to set your intention for the day and to change your pattern for the day. And so if you can open your eyes to a different thought, a different rewiring, a different pattern, if you can put some new, happier, healthier things in place that are more positive and beneficial for your mind to hear, that is what we want to accomplish. So I hope that you will do that as soon as you wake up tomorrow morning. I hope you write down a sticky note. I hope you just jot down a few notes of what you're going to do in the morning and get up and do it. Go against those thoughts that are telling you you can't. Go against those thoughts that are telling you it's too hard, it's too much, it's too often. Go against your urge and that voice to stay negative, to stay sick, to stay listening to it, listening to the doom and gloom, right? So that's what I want you to do. Instead of letting your mind drift into doom and gloom, I want you to allow your mind to go somewhere positive. What if? What are the possibilities?